So today I was involved in another roundtable with government, represented by the Secretary of State Jonathan Reynolds, the Employment Minister Justin Matters, and with an introduction for the Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner, along with a number of so-called employer representatives, plus unions. It was very good to be in the conversation because it was a very important one. It was about the so-called day one rights of employment. The Labour Party had put in their manifesto that they wanted to grant full employment rights to everybody from day one of employment. And in particular, what that meant was the potential removal of the qualifying period for unfair dismissal. Now, that period currently stands at 2 years. We all, from the employer side, would concur that that was longer than necessary, and that by and large that people or organizations would be comfortable with something between a 6 and 12-month period where you could not claim an unfair dismissal. However, the direction is that the government is very likely to repeal that provision. In other words, as I said, granting full day one employment rights, and instead move towards reinforcing a probationary period. Now, we know that probationary periods today are not statutory. They are generally embedded in employment contracts, and we have always regarded them as good practice in terms of being clear with new joiners, new employees, about what is expected of them in their early months of employment, and providing regular and consistent feedback through that process. So if it does not work out, then we are clear as to why that has happened, both from the employer and the employee side. However, in moving towards the probationary period becoming potentially a statutory period, that raises a whole set of questions as to what is statutory versus what might appear through contracts and contracts of employment, or what might be guidance, or what might, for example, appear through ACAS codes. And it was acknowledged by the government and the civil servants present that there is a lot more work to be done to clarify exactly those points, and to ensure, and we certainly emphasize this point, that whatever happens, that these provisions would be kept as simple and concise as possible, that we do not overcomplicate the process, because we are all very concerned that if this becomes too complex or too onerous, that it could act as a constraint to employers on recruitment, either because they would perhaps take a lower risk to recruitment, in other words, not recruit people that they might regard as from backgrounds that would create a higher level of risk, which could work against inclusion and certainly our key principles of good employment for all, or that they take another route entirely, such as going for temporary contracts. And this would be particularly true, of course, for small businesses who would need a lot of support and guidance in any change of legislation of this kind. So what was committed to, and it was recognized and acknowledged that there's a lot more detail to be worked through, is there will clearly be a lot further consultation. And we will continue to represent our profession in all of this. We are at the heart of so much of what would happen in any changes to legislation of this kind, and that we will continue to reach out to our membership to hear their points of view and get their insights and input to what will be a very important period of consultation. So we will keep you appraised of that, but I wanted to at least let you know what had come out of a very important meeting this afternoon.